There is a lot going on in the crypto market as of late, but there is also a lot taking place for Shiba Inu. We've seen it bounce off of its long-term trend now twice in the last 3 days. We've seen large holder net flows increase by 800%. We're seeing at only 28% of Shiba Inu holders deal with this right now. All that and much, much more in this video. There's a lot of things we need to talk about. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. When we're looking at Shiba Inu right now, I'm noticing a couple things. First of all, Shiba Inu has touched this long-term trend, guys. This dates all the way back to the depths of the bear market cycle. And you guys can see that Shib had two nice, very great bounces off of this. We're seeing a lot of defending in terms of price. And I see a lot of people getting very loud about adding back a zero. Right now, we're very close, guys. We're only about 7%, 7.5% or so away from hitting those levels. But what we are continuing to see is Shiba Inu show strength, resilience. Understand that when I say those things, it doesn't mean that price isn't dropping, but what you're seeing is people actively defending price. You're seeing massive accumulation take place. Now, what I do have to say for Shiba Inu that is very good here is we have in fact tapped this oversold range on the RSI. Now, I know I talked about this in my ADA video. Across the crypto market, we're seeing this. And for Shib, this has historically been very good for price. Okay, we have went on very significant rallies when we do touch the oversold range. In fact, we did one just back here on March 11th or so, and we actually saw Shiba Inu rally 44%. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen here, but it's definitely something worth noting. We did in fact tap the oversold range back here on February 2nd. You guys know we rallied about 45%, 46% during that time as well. Touched it again back on February 8th. That was another 15, 16% pump. I mean, you guys get the point, right? We've done this time and time again, and it has led to at least some local rallies, some short-term rallies that have been very poppy. Very aggressive moves to the upside. Now, what is really exciting about this is, again, we're seeing huge defensive price. Whale net flows surged by 800%. So they're actively accumulating right now. They're picking up cheap Shiba Inu. And I know some people have complained about whales in the past. Guys, they are very heavily in positive net flows throughout 2025. They have actively been defending these prices. They have actively been accumulating as time goes on. And this has been a very consistent theme for a very long period of time. And this is why Shib is kind of different from the rest of the market. Yes, there are other assets throughout the space that are seeing whale accumulation, but you don't see that level of conviction from whales like you do when it comes to Shiba Inu, which is a very exciting sign. Now, 28% of holders for Shiba Inu are currently where we're at in terms of those in profit. It is a very low level. Now, this isn't great, right? We want to see a lot more people in profit, but it is also great because what you tend to see is when very little people are in profit, they're very unwilling to dump their bags. All right. Just looking back at some of these historic levels, we can see the last time that Shiba Inu had only 28% of holders in profit was back in January of 2024. Again, very few people willing to actually unload their positions. Now, we have seen times where it's been significantly less than that. I will actually reference all the way back here to the summer of 2021, probably around, 15, 20% of holders in profit at that time. And you guys remember, we may not remember what we did in price all the way during that time. It was a lot of chop, a lot of sideways trading. So this actually may be where Shiba Inu gets a little choppy, a little sideways until the market decides to make an overall move. Yesterday, again, was a positive flow day for whales. What we're seeing again here for exchange supply, I know there are some people that like to see that. We're once again hitting a record low here. We're on the verge of dropping below 87 trillion Shiba Inu available on exchanges. So I'm not going to say we're in a great spot in terms of price, but we're continuing to see resilience in terms of fundamentals. And that's a very important thing that is very necessary here. We are seeing a lot of loud stuff in the space, right? Tariffs, economy, stock market crashes, and all this stuff, it makes it very difficult for retail-driven assets to hold strength, because retail tends to be the first one to freak out. They tend to be the first one to panic and unload their positions. The sky is falling, but they also make some of the biggest mistakes in this space too. And in fact, what we've seen a lot of right now is probably people making mistakes. And again, this isn't financial advice. People can do what they want. Me personally, right down at these ranges, this is a huge accumulation spot for me. I would love to accumulate at below 401, but that is a psychological level for people that right now is showing a lot of resilience. We'll see if that continues to be the case as the day goes on, but eventually we're going to hit this point of reversal where the market starts to rally, where everything's looking good once again. What I will note here is, this is our biggest the biggest thing we're fighting again. I know I've been talking about this for a long time, guys, but ETH continues to drop. In fact, on today's daily candle, it set a lower low. Actually, it hit the lowest level we have seen. Since all the way back. Let's see, all the way back in March of 2023. So actually in the bear market, that was the last time we saw these low of Ethereum prices. There were some reports that actually World Liberty Financial was unloading some Ethereum, so that's not helping ERC20s at all. But I think a lot of people are getting pretty impressed with Shiba Inu resilience at this time. We're continuing to see Shib again hold strength versus ETH. That's exactly what we want to see, because when ETH does start making moves, again, it can benefit Shiba Inu in a very big way. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts here. Do you think that we have some more downside? Are we going to see, Shib actually drop very heavily into this oversold range? Are we going to get a nice relief bounce from here? I mean, frankly, we have seen a lot of accumulation from these whales in this range. There's been quite a bit of supply removed during this time as well, from the latter part of March to now. And so what people need to understand is that that's a lot of liquidity in these ranges that isn't there. A lot of resistance that isn't there anymore. All right, that's what I have to say there. Now, again, doesn't mean we can't see drops in price. It doesn't mean there can't be more fear injected into the market. There's a lot that's trying to happen right now, which I'll talk about more in another video. But I think we're on the verge of potentially some upside moves, potentially some relief here in the near term, which I think is what retail desperately needs. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.